210.
Only 90 more till 300.
That's right. We're on their home stretch.
Donovan looks like he's about ready to watch a scary movie.
I can't get my lighting worked
That
out.
wasn't a complaint.
Oh. It's because this laptop is like one of those built-in camera laptop, and everything that's in my front office was set up from my old computer, and so it's different.
I think your lighting still looks better than mine. I can't seem to light my space in an effective way. Just everything looks blown out or whatever. So
Yeah, this just accentuates the fact that I have a ginormous forehead. So,
whoa, look at that thing.
I know, right? Gosh,
it's better than this. This is like a 5 or 6 head. Unless I do this, which is not a good look.
You could do it like draped over one eye.
No.
I just don't like. No offense to you guys. Like, I'm not going bald. I just have a really big forehead. I've always had a really big forehead, but it weirds me out that I always feel like I look like I'm going bald.
Well, I am going bald, so shut up.
No, that's what I said. Like, no offense to you guys.
No, I'm gonna probably embrace it soon. Just shave it all off. And the only reason why I haven't yet is my wife hasn't let me.
Yeah, you still look like you're filming like in a vat of grease or something.
I know. I'm trying to clean the little. I had a piece of tape over this. I've never used this laptop webcam before. My gosh!
If some of the starbursts are blue,
like 1980s Halo effect.
It's like glamour shots.
Yeah.
If some of the starbursts are blue, I'd say that J.J. Abrams is directing you.
Lens flares. I just need to put. Gosh, it's so dirty. It looks so bad. Oh my gosh.
I'm ready when you guys are.
Okay, I'm ready. So did we decide what we're Winter Soldier predictions?
We're doing WandaVision recap with some Winter Soldier sprinkled in.
Okay.
And then wherever the wind takes us.
Yep.
All right. What the hell was I going to say?
Hold on a second.
Power pill?
Yeah, I'm not going to use that one. I came up with a different one.
Okay. You never told us the different one.
No, I didn't. Okay, I got it. Remember, kids, don't eat all your power... Damn it, let me start over again. Remember, kids, don't eat all your power pellets at once. Save some for later. This is the Making Geeks podcast for makers, families, and geeks.
What's up?
So, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Let's go.
It's going well.
Man, it feels like we have a light crew since we've had like a 4-player ensemble the last couple weeks, right?
So much screen space here.
I know.
So now I only have 2 other people to trip over.
It's true. Alex, we miss you.
I do have to say, like, after our game of Linky last week, I think we've converted some people to get their own copies.
To never get it because we did so bad?
Listening to it. What's that?
To never get it because we did so horribly?
No, I think we inspired them to get it. And I've been trying to play with other people too. Like, it's a fun game. It really is. And we only scratched like a couple cards, and there's a bajillion in there.
So funny thing is, about a week ago, or a couple days after we recorded our last episode, I walk into our family room, and my son and daughter are playing Linky with each other. But they don't have the cards. They were making their own.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And that was kind of a cool thing to see. I think that for kids and for just actually anybody in general, trying to see the connection between the four different things is a really good kind of thought exercise, and just a lot of fun, especially when it's geek related.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had a ton of fun with the game. I've been recommending it to a lot of people.
Yeah, both Geek Out and Linky I've played on multiple occasions now since we have played it, and they've been huge successes.
It's a lot of fun.
Nice. I hope that like the people listening with just the audio had as much entertainment value as people that just watched.
Yeah. So for anybody in the audience that did that, let us know, because we're constantly trying to make changes and improvements and kind of tweak our settings here to make sure that whether you're in on the live chat when we actually record or listening to it after the fact, that you have just as enjoyable of an experience. Love to hear from you.
Yep.
Yeah. And after going to Target the other day, I realized that, like, I don't know if it's just the fact that they're more out there or whether there's new ones, but there's way more games.
Yes.
Than
to
I
both
thought
questions.
were out there.
Resurgence, yeah.
Yeah. There seems to be like a huge surge in new games, or at least games that I haven't heard of before. So I'm excited at the prospect of finding games that we can play together, because our first two have been great, and I figured they can only get better.
Hope so.
Yeah, there's been a huge growth for a couple different reasons. One, I think people have been coming across either different Facebook groups or YouTube channels where these games are being promoted and seen. But also, I think the last year has actually pushed a lot of it forward too, where families have found themselves spending more time together. I think parents are trying, when they can, to maybe limit some of the digital exposure. Whether it's kids sitting in front of the computer for school or video games, but then doing something as a family a little bit more. I know that my board game collection has probably doubled in the last year of different games I play with my family now. In fact, maybe we should keep like a running list somewhere, the things that we do with our families, and kind of share that way too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So what's up, gentlemen? Anything new from that? Anything you're currently working on or working towards, I suppose?
I'm working on a laser engraved tile video, following suit to yours with a couple different techniques.
Let's get those referrals going back and forth, because that's
right.
actually one of my better performing videos the last 6 months.
Nice. I'm using typical like terracotta, not terracotta, what is it? Porcelain tiles, ceramic tiles that are like glossy on the front. So I got a technique for that, and then I also have one for glass tiles that have a white like painted backing, which come out super cool in a different way. So I'm looking forward to showing that. I've had this video in the works for like 2 years, and it just kind of backburnered as other things got reprioritized and whatnot. So I'm finally getting it out there, and I got a couple other K40 videos that I hopefully will be able to knock out soon, that I'm excited about. So.
Cool. Yeah, it's fun to find out that your experiments with tile superseded mine for about 2 years, and you happened on about the same discovery that I made. Well,
yeah,
I didn't make the discovery, but found out about from other people. So yeah, that's really cool.
It's a full circle.
Yeah. How about you, Donovan?
I had to pause on the doghouse, on the Legend of Zelda doghouse. Yep. My wife didn't want it permanently in our backyard, because our backyard is getting rather Nintendo-ified. And so to save what space we have in the backyard, I moved the doghouse to my parents' farm, which is where the dog is anyway, most of the time, except for when we babysit her. And so they came down with a truck and trailer and hauled it off. I have the roof pieces left to paint, and then I'll have to find time to go out there and film and finish it. So in the meantime, I have been working on decaling my car. I busted out my vinyl plotter and cut out Wind Waker decals that I designed in Inkscape, and have been detailing my car. and working on that. So that's been fun. My car definitely stands out now.
Very
It looked cool. It looked cool from the Instagram that I saw.
Yeah. I couldn't tell
It
at
looks
first.
better than I thought it would. And today, one of the things that I did is when I got the car, it has the generic place where you bought it decal that's on the back, like Jim Norton Auto Store or whatever. And so I peeled all that off at lunchtime today and went in and cut a Outset Island Auto Sales. And then I did a little ancient Hylian script below that and did the logo, the little flag from Outset Island and put that on the back of my car. So it looks legit. But you know, only geeks would appreciate it, but it still looks legit. I think it's pretty cool. I have the worst luck with electronics, especially lately. But this little plotter, man, has yet to fail me. I'm so excited to have it because it's been a workhorse the last several days. Because I've cut out, I think, like 30 sheets of vinyl that I'm putting on this car.
It's a lot of vinyl.
It is a lot of vinyl.
I think the vinyl plotter is like the one of the few tools that I don't have. But
they're worth getting.
Yeah, I've thought about it for a while. I don't know how often I'd use it. Actually, you know, I'd probably find a use for it.
You know, when I do have to say, like, when I got it for my birthday a couple years ago, I opened it up and it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, cool, thank you, great. When am I ever going to use this? And then come to find out, I use it all the time, like more than any other machine I think I have in my house. I've used this thing to death, and it's still going. I haven't broken it yet.
You shouldn't even say that.
Speak it into existence.
Oh gosh, because like my laser cutter is not working. Both my 3D printers not working. My kids poured water on my desktop computer and killed it. Like I am the worst with electronics. So I'm glad that at least that's working.
Very cool. I'm not currently directly working on a video. I'm working on trying to get my workspace in order. I'm getting some work done on my house. So a couple things have been put on the back burner. But I'm hoping to have my second or actually my first real Glowforge video started and maybe even finished by next week because I have spring break next week. Then I will finally possibly get to my chess set video that I've been talking about for probably upwards of 4 months at this point.
This is the All Queens chess, right?
Yeah, that's the All Queens chess. The hybrid between chess and checkers, I guess, is one of the ways to describe it. And during the video, I'll talk about the game a lot too, because I think it's a really, really fun game for families. It's one of the ones we picked up over the last year. My son, actually, we all play against each other and have a lot of fun. And I also released a new T-shirt under my kind of like Geek Builders banner, but it's not a specifically Geek Builders shirt. It says Maker AF on a flag that I kind of like. So if anybody wants to be part of the Maker AF club, the shirts are there.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Yes, exactly. I was thinking, you know, I need an alternate version of what that means for some people. My wife said Air Force, like Maker Air Force. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they agree, but
Can mean what you want it to mean.
that's right. I was debating whether or not I should attempt wearing that one to work, but probably not. Probably not. So this week, we are going to have a pretty substantial geek out session because the Marvel TV series, the new one, has kicked in with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But we also realized that we never fully wrapped up our discussion of WandaVision. We know that WandaVision's already kind of finished up a couple weeks ago, but we kind of want to bring our discussion of it to a close, talk about some of our predictions, see if we were surprised by the way it ended, and just, I guess, general commentary about it, and then talking about Winter Soldier and Falcon Winter Soldier and possibly making some predictions based on that show.
Yep.
So it looks like it's going to be, you know, a Marvel decade coming up. I think we have a new episode of a Marvel show from now until August, something around there. So
sounds
there's a lot of
right, yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously, spoiler warning if you haven't finished WandaVision or you haven't made it to at least episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We'll just say that. So,
Yep.
You've been warned.
You have been warned. So, WandaVision. How do we want to start this? Just a general, did we like it? Did we not like it? Or were we surprised?
Well, mine's a little more complicated. Like, I had different feelings from the beginning than I did at the end. So
Okay.
It was kind of a spectrum. I loved it at the beginning. I loved how different it was. I loved how little they were telling people. That felt nice because I got kind of tired of all the exposition and a lot of media now where there's like explaining every little detail for the audience because you can't pay attention, Mr. Audience Member. But this one, they were like dropping all kinds of Easter eggs and all kinds of plot threads. Some of them actually were fake. Some of them were real. Kind of, I think, messing with the all the nerds online that like to microanalyze every single scene. And they actually had sort of a meta reference in the show where they were like investigators investigating what was happening and tossing up the same sort of theories about where they were and what they were doing. And so there's like a lot of like play with the audience in that way, which I thought was really cool. I love all the sitcom stuff. I grew up watching Nick at Night and all the reruns of a lot of those classic shows, and so those hold a nice spot in my heart. And so I really appreciate like all the edginess, like as far as like visually and like the references, and they were kind of like swinging for the fences. It seemed like they didn't really care what people were saying at the beginning because they knew that there was going to be a satisfying arc, if you just kind of stuck with it. And they dropped just enough breadcrumbs to keep people, mostly interested. And those that were kind of turned off initially, I think, finally got on board. I know a lot of people were kind of about the first like 3 episodes, which I liked the most, just because sitcoms weren't like their thing. They're old school sitcoms. So they kind of didn't hold their interest. But I think as it progressed, it started doing a little more like tropey Marvel kind of stuff in the middle, which I liked the introduction of like Kat Dennings and all the other characters that were from other Marvel properties. Like I love the Jimmy Woo and Darcy's like interaction together and like other things that developed from that. But I think by the end, fast forward to the end, like they ended in like the most cliche like Marvel thing that like I was like really surprised.
Skybeam and CGI fight.
Yes, the friggin' Skybeam, dude. Like every superhero movie has like a Skybeam of some kind, and it is so overplayed, and they know this. Like, why are they gonna put that in there? Like, I'd be hard pressed to come up with a list. Like, if we're gonna play like geek out, like list superhero movies that don't have sky beams in them, or like action movies or nerdy movies. Like freaking Ghostbusters has sky beams in them, man. Come on, like everything.
So the sky beam is kind of like the modern version of the walking away from an explosion.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? Howard the Duck started it all. That was the first Marvel movie. And the beginning of that movie was a sky beam.
Sure.
And the end of that movie was a sky
so
beam.
weird. It is so weird that you just have that knowledge on like the top of your brain to pull from.
Finally, I get to use this.
Well, I was at lunch today. I was binge watching a couple of pitch meetings, and one of the ones that came up was for Howard the Duck, and I watched it. And it was, I forget about that movie most of the time, but as we were talking about like the trope of sky beams, I realized like Howard the Duck was the first Marvel movie that they like made into a live action movie, and that's sky beams.
And so
it started it all right there.
And it just, the characters, yes, I know they're magic and they're like they hover around and stuff. It just looked, I don't know, it was just very, it was almost like they had 2 different development teams, like from the first half and the second half. It's like, I don't know what happened, but it just felt like 2 sort of incongruent, like, tones or whatever. It didn't, I mean, I guess it was always going to end up in the Marvel stuff because that's what it is, right? So I guess, and I don't want to be like nitpicky because I really did enjoy the show a lot. Like I would give it an A still, right? But I think my level of wow like declined after like the halfway point. At least just because it got tropey and kind of overdone for a lot of that stuff. And they kind of pulled like a Last Jedi, is that right? Yeah, the Last Jedi moment where they had like Evan Peters like show up, and they knew that was going to rile up the fans and all the fanboys. Like, oh, this is the introduction of, all the mutants. And I mean, why would you not think that? That's obviously what they were going to. That's why he was there, right? They were just going to troll, and it was basically a super troll. Like it was a giant boner joke, like the ultimate troll, like kind of thing, right? His last name was Boner, like. And it was just, I don't know. It was just kind of like a lot of those moments in. It's Last Jedi.
Do those moments start taking you out of
absolutely
the story? Okay,
they shouldn't, but they know that the people that are really into it are going to have that reaction. They have to.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watched Chris Stuckman at all.
Yeah.
No.
He's a YouTube movie reviewer, but one of the things that he said that I really agree with in terms of WandaVision is that when WandaVision was trying to be WandaVision, it was great. The character development was great. The storylines were great. It was very engaging. But when WandaVision was trying to tie itself into the MCU, it loses the momentum because it has to pull you out of that story to say, okay, well, here's this character. They have to build everything into the MCU, and that's where WandaVision loses itself.
Yeah, but I think that having any expectation other than that really isn't good, because it's always meant to be a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's always meant to be a vehicle for everything else. It's standalone in a way, but it's kind of like a bridge between two sentences. Sadly, because I thought it's phenomenal. I don't care about the other stuff as much in terms of, that turning point where, the mystery was starting to be kind of unraveled. I didn't mind it as much. It sounded like it bothered you just a little bit more, Wes.
And if I'm being nitpicky,
right. I understand too.
Yeah.
But I think part of the problem is something a little bit different, in that we consume so much right now, and there are so many different stories being written, that there are a lot of things that are going to seem constantly like tropes, like the sky beam. Well, how else do you show a burst of energy being released? There's probably a couple different ways of doing it. But, if it wasn't a sky beam, if it was something that shot out like this, then we'd have something else to reference it to. I think that uniqueness and originality are possible, but extremely, extremely rare. And because we've consumed so much, we're always going to be able to relate it to something else. So
it's like even the magic versus magic battle. Okay. I expected there to be a lot more magic in it. Basically, they were just hovering around, and like Wanda's like only good attack was something that the Hulk can do. She basically threw a car at her through a wall. Okay, like any Avenger can do that.
Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah, like any Avenger can do this, right? Even Rocket could probably do it if he shot a big enough rocket or projectile. It would throw somebody through a wall. Like she has the ability to alter someone's like perception of who they are, what they see, all this stuff, and it's like they just didn't do any of that. And it was just really.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to complain in the same way, it's my favorite part of the show was everything that was psychological.
Yes.
And when that was peeled away,
yeah,
it wasn't as unique anymore. So having it more psychological, I thought still would have been kind of interesting. And I don't know about the two of you, but I still feel like there was something missing from it. And I don't know if that's just my perception of what I've been used to with storytelling, of wanting there to be someone else pulling the strings, and this was not just, what was her name, Agatha?
Mm-hmm.
Because there seems like there was it's almost like a two-legged table. We're still missing that third leg for it to really stand on and balance itself. I still feel like there was something missing from it, and that missing part was still part of the almost like the mystery box. If I want to use like a J.J. Abrams like metaphor, like the mystery box is still closed, but then as it was open, it's like, well, okay, that was it.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was still missing something. Although there are one or two loose ends, I think, because of Vision.
Mm-hmm.
That
White
other
Vision.
form of Vision is now out in the wild, and who knows with that. But there's something else still I'm missing. Wasn't there one other loose end?
At the very end, she has the Darkhold, the magic book, and so like
That's right.
they're leading into her going to save her kids, or whatever. Which still could be a Mephisto thing. It just people were just early on that. I mean, the Darkhold is super pure evil, and that is the devil character, so that's not so much of a stretch. But like I said earlier, like just to harken back and then I'll shut up. I just felt like a lot of the show was like bait and switchy kind of stuff. Like to me, it's just like The Last Jedi. So like the anticipation of, oh, here's the moment that Rey hands, Luke the lightsaber that we've been waiting 2 years or whatever for them to do, and he tosses it over his shoulder, and like he says, like nothing's going to turn out the way you expect it to. Like, oh, what about our parents? So much is riding on our parents. Her parents don't matter. Like, oh, what about Evan Peters and the X-Men? That doesn't matter. What about this? Someone mentioned an Air Force. Oh, I got an Air Force engineer or aerospace engineer that'll take a look at it. Who is it? It's some rando character that no one, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a lot of, they're like casting these little things for nerds to like be interested and like get excited about, and then they whip it away like, haha, it just pull out the rug from you and like under you. Yeah, it's just kind of
so it seems like the intentional trolling was taken away from the potential for better storytelling.
Yeah,
it's Fair Disney enough. Being smart, because do you know how much like online talk and buzz and speculation and videos and you want to talk about effective marketing? That is effective marketing. Whew. Because they had like this is the entry point to, I guess, the next phase, right? Because we're coming off a doldrum from Endgame until WandaVision.
Well, and Spider-Man, but that's
Does Spider-Man count though?
Technically it's supposed to.
It seems like a really weird way to end a phase when Endgame should have.
Well, yeah.
But, anyways. They did a really good job getting people to market their content. And now that everybody's attention is on the Marvel Universe again, now the other stuff can come out every week until August.
I have to be honest, the very end of the show, not the end credit thing, but the end of the show where Wanda and Vision have their final moment, so-called. Yeah, that got to me a little bit.
That was one.
Teary-eyed.
Yeah. Or like the whole world was collapsing around him. Yeah.
Yep. The metaphor for the suburban family.
Yeah. I like the whole angle about him buying the house for her, and that's how it started. Like that was really cool because that was like really relatable. But the hovery battle stuff was not relatable, and that's where it lost me. But I also like the Salem Witch trial kind of tying in. I like when like fantasy and like sci-fi stuff intertwine with like real world references. Like there's like Star Trek episodes where they would like reference some space probe that was launched, and it ends up being the Uber, as like what they're going to do a lot in Loki series apparently, where they'll explain a lot of weird mystery stuff because he's going to be entwining like Forrest Gump style into events, which sounds
so
cool.
You like historical fiction?
Yeah, I like the Red Alert video game series.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I agree wholeheartedly with everything that Wes was saying about the show. I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
I do have to admit. Mm-hmm. I was very skeptical that I would enjoy it, but I enjoyed it. And now that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is starting, I'm very skeptical that I'm going to enjoy that. But you never know.
Sure.
So before we transition into Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's kind of our next step in the conversation. Was there one thing that you were hoping that was going to come to fruition in WandaVision that didn't?
A lot of it has been, a lot of the setup is heading towards the multiverse. I mean, we got that in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, even though, yes, that's not Disney, that's Sony. But ever since then, like, MCU has been building up into the multiverse. And so it would have been nice to kind of have something to open the door in that direction. Because maybe you were talking about something missing, is that WandaVision was trying to tie itself into everything else and prepare for, 6 other spinoffs for other characters and everything like that. But in terms of the arc for this phase, I feel like it didn't really set anything up.
Yeah, it was a vehicle, but if you didn't see WandaVision, I'm not 100% sure that you would have been missing out on that much for the next movie, for the most part, other than maybe Vision having changed forms.
True.
And being alive.
Alive is a strange concept, but yeah, still in existence in some form.
Because after this, we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. After Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we've got Black Widow.
I believe that's correct. In May.
Right? And then Spider-Man.
Got pushed back.
I think that's in May, and I think Loki
And
is
then
in
Loki's
June.
coming out. Yeah, okay.
Then we've got the 10 Rings, Shang-Chi, the 10 Rings this summer. And we also have one other thing that's escaping me at the moment. Not counting Spider-Man. There's another one.
Spider-Man's not until next fall, right?
It's coming up this Christmas.
Okay. I just saw a picture that they wrapped filming on Spider-Man today. Not that I believe anything that's on the internet today, but I did see that picture today that they had wrapped.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot coming down the line, and we're not going to have any shortage of things to talk about.
The Eternals.
Eternals, yeah. So with WandaVision done, Falcon and the Winter Soldier has started up, and we have 2 episodes that have already been released and 1 more this week. I am really looking forward to this, and I like that it is so vastly different than the last one. So it doesn't seem like the same thing over again. You have psychological thriller in a sense, and now you have action, adventure, espionage, spy type storyline. So I think each one of these is going to appeal to a different subset of people more than the last. So my son has been cheering since the first opening scene and opening sequence from the show, while my daughter doesn't want to watch any of it, but she was eyes glued to the TV for WandaVision. So that kind of describes the span of my household. So what do you guys take on Falcon and Winter Soldier so far?
I'll let you go first this time, Donovan.
I wish I could be more excited about it than I am.
I'm curious though, because you mentioned earlier on that you weren't as much into it. I'm just wondering why. What is it that is not getting your attention?
Back to the
I don't know.
same
I
old.
just look at it as I wonder what story they're trying to tell. I mean, because don't you have to
kind of wait and watch before?
Yeah.
Being like Debbie Downer about it?
No, I'm not trying to be Debbie. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, I wasn't that into WandaVision when it first came out, but it surprised me. And so I'm trying to give Falcon and the Winter Soldier the benefit of the doubt. And the fact that it's only 6 episodes and everything that's happened in the first 2 episodes makes me think that they're going to either have to cram so much into 4 episodes, or it's just going to be like they won't. Either they will or they won't. And I'd be confused. I'm confused as to how they would work it out either way.
I don't think I realized it was only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
6-episode series. So a lot of, I mean, I didn't watch the first episode. I watched the second episode. So I'm assuming the first episode was the whole Falcon setup. And the second episode was Winter Soldier setup. Am I right?
No.
Sort of?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, I don't know how much you've been filled in, quote unquote, from your other, like your debrief from your other family or whatever that told you about the important plots in the first episode. Like, did they go over the list?
No. They went over him giving up the sword and Bucky having PTSD. Not the sword, but the shield.
It's worth going back and watching then.
Okay.
There's some good character development in that first episode.
Yeah.
At least good by my standards. I don't know about Donovan's standards.
So I like the My Name. I think of it as like a My Name is Earl reference. If anybody's ever seen that show, he basically, the gist of that show is the main character starts believing in karma and that he wants to right all of his wrongs of being a jerk his whole life. And so that's sort of like what Winter Soldier is going through. He has a list of things or people that he needs to sort of come to terms with or deal with, like that are related to things he did as the Winter Soldier, such as like executing different people and seeking out and doing spy things. And so in the first episode, Donovan, there was it shows him having a dream, and it's a flashback of him doing his assassin thing, and he shoots this younger kid that, I don't know if he was a bystander or if he was part of the operation. He was just, he saw what happened, and he's like, I won't tell anybody, and Bucky wakes up with him pulling the trigger on the young, like, teenager or young adult, basically. And come to find out, like, later on that episode, it shows him in the shrink's office, and he's going through like the state, like these set of rules that she set up for him in order to like try to be a better person. So he's got a set of rules he's trying to stick to, which is kind of interesting. He's got like a prime directive kind of deal. And so he later on he ends up going to lunch with this older Asian gentleman that you come to find, I think he's Asian. Yeah. Come to find out that he is the father of the kid or the young adult that he shot. And so the older Asian gentleman just thinks he's befriending him. He doesn't realize there's anything else to it, but he's clearly still grieving over his son being killed. I'm not sure what the timeline is of when this happened. But he's like talks about his son, and there's like he happens to like open the door on the older gentleman, and he sees kind of like a little shrine sort of thing, like a memorial that the older guy set up for his son who's been killed in his apartment. And so Bucky is like constantly being reminded, and you find out that that guy's name is on the top of the list that he's yet to cross off because he's trying to rectify somehow this thing that he did. So at some point he's going to end up talking. It's just really good. Like, I think it was a really good character building thing to show like his evolution, and that he's like a man at a time kind of thing. Like, yeah, Captain America was as well for doing good things, right? Well, he's a man out of time for doing bad things. So it's almost like the other flip side of the coin to see how he like reacts to stuff. And I think the angle that they took with Falcon is interesting too, where it's a lot of stuff about symbolism and, what it means to be like Captain America and all those things. And like, I like the military from being in the military. I like some of the angles they're taking with some of that stuff. And also for Bucky as well. But I've enjoyed it a lot, more than I thought I would. I was not as excited, like similar to what you were saying. Like, it was just kind of back on the bicycle. Like, you've seen espionage kind of action stuff before versus a crazy sitcom. So it's not that I'm tired of it necessarily, but I wasn't as excited because it didn't seem as different. But now they're mixing in some other elements, especially with Zola being referenced at the end of the second episode. Not Zola, sorry. Not Zola.
Zemo.
Zemo, thank you. Too many Z's. Zemo being referenced. sorry, that leads to my prediction. So I kind of spoiled myself right there. But yeah, with Zemo, and so that's kind of cool that they're gonna, I think, team up with him. Because in the trailers, you make it seem that he gets out and they do something, but I think they're gonna be like, my enemy of your enemy is my friend kind of thing. So,
Okay.
it'll be interesting to see them.
I think there's
Good.
I think there's a couple different ways to watch a lot of the Marvel movies. I mean, you could probably make this argument for any movie, but for a lot of action films, you could watch it from the perspective of just, it's a popcorn film, or in this case it's a series, but just enjoying the action, taking it at face value, and just it's a fun consumable. But I think that a lot of the Marvel films, not everyone, but there's definitely been very specific ones that I think have been created with the intention of being somewhat like a modern day allegory. There is another story being told. So you have the story being told within the Marvel universe that is directly related to the characters, but then there's the other story that is told that is directly related to our current affairs in modern day life. And in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I feel like that line is really heavily being blurred, and I love the hell out of it. I really do. I'm not going to say it's the best storytelling ever, but I immensely enjoy it. But what I enjoy is the conversations and the moments in between the action. Because action, yeah, it's riveting, kind of gets the heart rate up a little bit. It's really cool to see. It's, visual eye candy. But I love the conversations. I love the little bits of history, even though it's not real history. There's like these glimmers of where you could see where it might have been grounded in real life. And I really enjoy that part. As far as predictions, I'm not sure. I'll make predictions, but I don't really want to make predictions because of what happened with Wandavision. I can simply say what I would. It's a safe space. Well, no, I understand that. It's not really about that. But I think I'd say here's what I would like to see happen, as opposed to here's what I think is going to happen. And I think there's a pretty strong distinction between those two different things. So, but I'm really liking it. For two characters that I don't think got enough real quality screen time and story development in the main movies, I'm really liking this, and I like the characters. I like the actors. Yeah. So, where do you guys think it's going? Prediction time.
Can I go first on that one? All right, I think
either one.
I think that as I sort of slipped, I think Armin Zola. I would like to see Armin Zola still be behind all this stuff, because his consciousness was in a computer that was supposedly destroyed. But what's the next obvious thing for a computer? You got to back yourself up. He's a genius. He's going to back himself up. Okay, so they've already hinted at another group called the Power Brokers that apparently are dishing out superhuman abilities to different people. I think Falcon will end up getting the shield back through some means, and it'll piss off the new Captain America, quote unquote, and he's going to end up wheeling and dealing somehow and end up flipping. He's going to end up getting powers and go evil. And I think Armin Zola is the actual chess master behind all of it, because it links back to Hydra again, which is still there. You cut off two heads, 16 are going to grow in its place or whatever. So that's my hope. I hope he's behind it, because he always liked that character, and he's influential into how the Winter Soldier was developed initially, and so I think that'll provide more of a full circle for him as a character as well. So I think we have to look ahead and see, like similar to what they did with different arcs of different characters for all the original Avengers. I think you'd have to kind of predict and see what would be the natural arc for, like, resolution for for Falcon and the Winter Soldier individually. So I don't know. Those are my hopes and dreams.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier was, well, I don't want to say Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel film because Ragnarok is actually my favorite Marvel film. But Winter Soldier is a close second.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be an interesting tie-in.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah. The Chekhov's. Do you guys know about Chekhov's gun?
Sounds familiar. But
I've heard it, but I forgot it.
In screenwriting, there's a concept called Chekhov's gun, where if you show a gun in Act 1, it has to go off by Act 3. It's called Chekhov's gun. And so there has to be payoff to the setup. They kind of flipped that a lot in WandaVision. Like they were setting up, like Wes was talking about, all the setup of this and then pull the rug out from under you, set up for this, pull the rug out from under you, all that kind of stuff. But this isn't WandaVision. And so if we're following the rule of Chekhov's gun, there's going to be a sorcerer of some kind that's going to show up because they keep talking about wizards and sorcerers. So there's one Chekhov's gun. The other is Captain America's niece.
yeah,
Helen?
Wait, you mean
What's her name?
Peggy Carter's?
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna be back. She's confirmed to be back.
Agent Carter.
Yeah.
So they've talked about her to the point where
Sharon.
like she has to be in this
Yeah.
because they're setting it up. And so like in watching the episode that I did, my mind always tries to find the Chekhov guns in stories to see how they're setting up what's going to happen in the future, which is one of the reasons why I tend to ruin movies for my wife and she hates me for it. But just because I'm always looking for stuff like that. So there are things in this, like the Wizards and Agent Carter, that I'm like, oh, they're gonna have to bring it in sometime, or pull the rug out from under us like WandaVision. Who knows? But there's gonna be a sorcerer either way, and probably a sky beam and a CGI fight.
I think the leader of the Power Broker it should be a character that has been trusted in the past or had a minor role in the past that they're gonna loop back to. Like,
Okay, so it has to be
Yeah.
somebody recognizable, right?
yeah,
So who are potentials?
I think the Power Broker is going to end up being Thunderbolt Ross.
that's a popular theory.
Hmm.
'Cause it's Super Soldier related. Yeah.
Yeah, so if this is actually the line to Thunderbolts, which has been rumored, which has that been confirmed in
No.
their no?
Oh, the development? I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, because Red Hulk, Zemo,
Right.
all those, if that is actually one of the paths that are in the future, I think that would make sense. I have a different prediction of sorts, and I don't think I've heard anybody say it, and I don't know if there's any basis for this in the comics, but it's something that bothers me, and it can only be rectified if this happens, is that, even if Sam gets the shield back, the shield is a great tool. It's a great weapon. But I think at some point, Sam also has to be injected with the super soldier serum. There's no way that he's going to be as strong or as good as a lot of other people. DC is about gods. Marvel is about steroids. So, at some point...
Sorry, Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Oh my gosh.
I think that at some point everybody's been exposed to some sort of muscle enhancement or some sort of mechanized enhancement. So he's due.
I think Bucky's going to be Captain America.
That's going to be the switch.
It's gonna be Sam.
I could see it.
I can see that too.
That'd be the redemption for him.
Yeah.
Cancel culture will call out on that one.
No, because I think Falcon is going to be Falcon. And you were talking about the list and Bucky's redemption, like him becoming Captain America would be an arc.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole conversation between Sam and Bucky about Captain America and trust and what it means and the shield and everything like that.
Yep.
So in the end, Sam realizing that Bucky is actually the one that
He
should
needs
be
it more
Captain
than him.
America.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I like it.
Not to say I'm going to make a great Captain America, but Captain America with wings is kind of weird. So we'd have to give it the wings.
Eagle's wings.
Yeah. Sam the Eagle. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I think so.
They own Disney. I mean, they own the Muppets. So
That's true.
there you go. Full circle. Illuminati confirmed. Gosh.
I mean, there's really not much of a debate of whether or not the new Captain America at some point, right? I mean, it seems like it's already been set up for the most part.
Yeah. An episode comes out tomorrow, which I think a lot has to happen. A lot. With only 4 episodes left, like...
I'm worried that this series is going to end, and I'm going to be pissed because I'll probably end up wanting more.
Then Loki comes out on my birthday, so it's all good.
The girl that's the leader of the Rebels is the same one that was the leader of the Rebels in Solo, right?
I think so.
It looks like her.
She looks like her.
Okay.
So same universe, is that what we're saying?
Maybe. That's the multiverse right there.
Yeah, one of the leaders of two different rebellions.
Yep. Not that they're typecasting, but I thought it was funny. It's like, wait a minute. Leader of the rebel group from 2 different franchises. Same actor.
I don't know why, but it kind of bothers me when an actor gets reused too much and too many big properties, at least so prominently. It's kind of dumb, but it kind of annoys me sometimes. Like, didn't I just see you?
That's Hollywood.
Oh, I know it's Hollywood. It just, I think that actually that character doesn't bug me as much. I think it's some other instances where it seems, whatever, ignore me.
Yeah,
Scratch that.
Do you think that's some foreshadowing where they saw her sitting in the truck, like her silhouette, and they assumed, oh, she must be the hostage, right? Innocent person. I guess you can tell is diminutive or female from the Red Wing scan. I don't really know, but they instantly assumed that she was the hostage, right? And then they did a little flip, they did a little switcheroo where, oh, just kidding, she's actually the leader, right? So maybe that's some other trusted, that's like foreshadowing some other trusted character that has already been established that's gonna switch later on. It's like a larger version of the same thing, right?
Captain America.
Yeah.
I think he's a bad guy. The second I saw him in episode
he looks
2,
slimy.
I'm like, oh,
I mean, yeah.
He looks like a Carl from Up.
Yeah.
In episode 2 kind of confirmed that. But that's just me probably trying to read into a little bit too much.
I don't think that was ever really a mystery. I mean, there was rumors about that before the show even came out. Because why would he be a good guy and still have Bucky and Falcon? You know, there's only room for so many.
Yeah.
Do you think Sharon Carter has a thing for old dudes and she's gonna hook up with Winter Soldier? I don't know.
Only time will tell.
Because it was weird when Cap did it, but for Bucky, it's not so weird, I guess. You know.
That'll be on Disney X.
Oh, so like all these new movies that are coming out that are like adult movies, are they going to be released on Disney Plus?
Well, everywhere but in the United States, they are so far.
Like Deadpool and Deadpool 2 and Deadpool Once Upon a Deadpool, like on Disney Plus.
From what I understand, you can use VPN and make it look like you're coming from Europe and access a more adult-friendly.
They're going to add it into our service as well, but I don't think we know the full story on it yet. They've talked about having a different section of it where all that stuff will be behind.
Yeah.
I don't know about it being behind another paywall, but there should be access to it by the new year, I think. I don't fully know.
I hope it's not another service. There's already too many.
There is. All right, so I think that kind of runs that out on Falcon the Winter Soldier, especially with only 2 episodes that are out. unless you guys have any kind of like really crazy town predictions on it.
I gave my crazy town prediction.
Okay.
That's an interesting one.
He's too
I'm
big of a
intrigued.
character to not be back at some point. And a character that's already digital, he's gonna have a backup somewhere. Maybe he uploaded himself into Winter Soldier's like brain or something. I don't know. Who's to say? Or maybe Zemo has the backup since he accessed all those like Hydra files and he knew where all the servers and all that stuff were, right?
The thing I didn't understand about Zemo is the fact that Zemo was just a guy
For
who
the
lost
Sokovian
family
army.
and
Yeah.
then for a year
Mhm.
became a bad guy. So he doesn't have a past beyond spending a year trying to get back at Captain America.
Supposedly.
Yeah, but I think he has like some espionage training and stuff, destabilization type things. So, are you suggesting that his character is not developed enough or not capable enough to really be a true villain?
I don't know. I don't see him that way, but that's just me.
It's a vengeance
Okay.
plot. It's pretty standard.
I have a hope, but not a prediction, and it's partially based on what a lot of other people have said with Wolverine making an appearance in this. I actually don't think it's going to happen, but it will be a hope of mine. I think that a character like Wolverine might steal the spotlight a little bit too much from the primary thing that they're trying to set up.
How would that work? Because he's dead, isn't he?
Wolverine?
It depends
What?
what time.
What universe?
Yeah, what
that
universe?
far
What
in the
timeline?
future.
Yeah,
So this is a different timeline.
we're assuming. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a different
Especially
multiverse.
because I'm not, I don't think Hugh Jackman's going to be Wolverine. I think they are rebooting it for this, line of movies. At the very least, I think there'll be an Easter egg nod to something related to him. Just
Interesting.
one of those troll type things that we were talking about from WandaVision.
Or it's just going to be another boner joke.
Another boner joke. There you go.
One can only hope.
Yep.
Wes, you want to go over our list?
Please refresh me. My mind went in the gutter just a second ago.
Oh, Patreon.
Yeah. Speaking of boner jokes, become a Patreon. Patreon over at patreon.com/makinggeeks. You pulled it out of me. Wait, that's not the right phrasing. No. Thank you.
That's what she said.
If you want to become a patron to help keep this stupid show on the air, go to patreon.com/makinggeeks. And you can join our elite squad of people that put their money where our mouth is each and every time we release an episode, including Square Splinter, Clinton from C3D Prop Shop, and Jordan Rimple. Thank you guys so much for your top support, but also thanks to every patron. We appreciate you and we love you, and we're enjoying having Valheim server just for you guys and playing on it. It's been a lot of fun. If you want to join our exclusive group that also has our own Discord server and interact with everybody on a daily basis and have lots of laughs, please check it out.
Very cool. Yep, we appreciate everybody that gives. And we hope to be able to do some more things too as that group grows. All right, so I know that we just spent like the last hour geeking out, but aside from Marvelness, since we all have different interests that we kind of encounter during the week and follow up on, what are we geeking out about this week? Okay, I'll go first. I'm geeking out about a documentary, one that I didn't think I was going to enjoy this much, but there's a documentary on Netflix, and cue irony, it's called The Last Blockbuster. It talks about the last blockbuster basically in the world that is in Oregon. And it's a it's at least for me and anybody of this generation, certain nostalgia factor attached to Blockbuster. And also probably a little bit of frustration too, with rewind fees or late fees, which they touch on all of that. But I like the story aspect, and I kind of really found myself going down memory lane, thinking about not just Blockbuster in and of itself, but that point in time and everything that's changed during those, what are we, 20, 30 years at this point. And it was kind of a fun romp of memories, and of course a little bit of heart in the story, and especially with the family that is still taking care of that last Blockbuster. It's fun. I recommend it. Check it out.
What service is that on?
Netflix, which is why I said cue irony. And that they definitely talk about the Netflix Blockbuster relationship.
Irony, yeah.
And they have the only thing that's weird about it and a little bit off-putting at times is some of the celebrity talking heads that they have make appearances during the show, like Doug Benson. But that's all I'll say. If you don't know Doug Benson, then you're probably a far better person than I am. But he's a stand-up comedian that is largely known for smoking an insane amount of pot. And that's all I need to say about that.
Is he also an actor?
I don't know if actor is too strong of a term, but he's appeared in front of cameras.
Oh no, I'm thinking of somebody else.
There's
Okay.
There's a couple of B and C level actors featured in the documentary. So I think there's quite a bit of questionable language. So just know that going into it as well.
My
What do you guys got?
Geek Out is also nostalgia based. The channel, the 8-Bit Guy, if you're not familiar with that channel, which is very good. He recently released a video where he is revisiting mentally the local mall to where he grew up, and so he's basically trying to do a snapshot of what was in the mall and other malls nationally around the 80s and 90s, and he's going into like what made them work, what the benefits were, what the draw for like geeky people was at a mall. Like you had Babbage's and Software Etc. and Suncoast Video and all these different things, and Radio Shack and all these different things that would all influence him as a person. And during his video, he actually brought up a Radio Shack product that I hold dear to my heart, which is the Robbie Jr. robot, which I think I've shown on the show in the past. He actually showed that one. He's like, this is mine from when I was 11 years old. And I was like, dude, like freaking out, like watching as if he could hear me. And he just had other references to things that were very nostalgia inducing. Very good. And he also it was somewhat spurred on by the recent status of Fry Electronics and other electronic supercenter kind of big box stores, and kind of his theory as to why they all have kind of gone by the wayside, which is very interesting. And he makes really good points for this stuff, so I highly recommend it. And I also just found out that he is related to another YouTube channel, the Geek Pub. He's literally related. He's the brother of the guy that runs the Geek Pub YouTube channel, which I've followed for years, and somehow they had to have had references between them saying that they're brothers. I had no friggin' idea. Just and like as I'm watching this, like I'm closing my eyes, and like they sound very similar, like in the way that they talk, but I just never clued into it. So yeah, I'm geeking out about that revelation and also his channel. If you've never checked it out, it's awesome. He goes into other old school retro console history and lore, and the design behind a lot of it, and the engineering of stuff that I never knew why it existed, and the reason that it does exist in the way it does. So it's really cool. Check it
out. Since I have been shopping for a new computer, it's been a while since I've needed to buy a computer and look at computer stuff. And I've been kind of blown away at how far computers have come. and there are some really intriguing open air, like very like high concept styles of desktop computers that I've seen in the last few days that have been really cool to look at and not buy because they're so expensive, but to just look at and be like, wow, that is super cool. Or ones that are like completely submerged in water, or all this other kind of stuff that people have done to their gaming computers. And so I've been kind of geeking out about gaming computers and electronics. Nothing too special.
That's still a pretty good geek out.
Yeah.
Yeah. RGBs everywhere. Everything now is RGB, apparently.
Yep.
Because, oh my gosh.
Well, we would love to hear what all of you are geeking out about. You can let us know that by going to our website and contact page and sending us a there. And we'd like to hear, what else that you like and suggestions you have for the show. And you can listen to all of our past episodes on the website at makinggeeks.com.
From all of us.
And
to
if
all of
you have...
Just kidding.
Oh, what?
I'm just kidding. I jumped the gun. My bad.
Okay. All right. If you have suggestions for us individually and not as a group, you can come talk to us or check out our content. Sean, you can find at Geek Builders. Wes, you can find at Geek Smithing. And me, you can find at Once Upon a Workbench. Wes, I hand it off to you.
And thank you guys for watching us on the YouTube stream as well. So from all of us to all of you, we hope you have a fantastic week.
Take
Later.
care.